So for question number 1, how did they organize the text? We said that they organized it by telling us about each amendment. So they went in order of what was the First Amendment, the Second, the Third, the Fourth. You can see that. Let me use my arrows here. You can see that if I look at different amendments that they're giving me, they are going in order of first and second and third. So they're not just picking a random order or anything like that. They're going amendment by amendment, telling me how they help us. Yes, Alexa.
I did it for homework, but it's just I didn't turn it in because I thought that.
That's okay. If you didn't turn it in, that's all right, because we're still gonna go. We're going over it right now, and if you turn it in, or if you have turned it in earlier, it won't let you fix the answers unless you get it back first.
Mhm.
You gotta unsubmit it if you want to fix any answers. So it's actually a good thing that you didn't turn it in yet. What's up, JD?
I'm ready for the next question.
Okay. So this number 2, the First Amendment is important because because it means A, you can be arrested for criticizing the government, because it means B, you cannot be arrested for protesting against the government, because it means C, soldiers cannot take over your home without your permission, or because it means D, the government can start a new religion. Which one do you think, JD?
I think it's D.
D, the government can start a new religion. When it says freedom of religion, what it means is that anybody can be whatever religion they want. So before, when you had a king, the king kind of made that decision for everybody. He said, everybody is this religion because I'm this religion. And if anyone is not this religion, they're going to jail. Illegal.
Yeah.
They didn't want that to happen. They wanted everyone to make their own choices.
Yeah.
So it's not that the government starts a religion, it's that they can't get you in trouble because you're not the same religion they are. So
And
that's
then
what it
my
means by freedom of religion.
proof is the first amendment, right?
Amendment.
Amendment gives the freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
Yeah, so freedom of religion doesn't talk about the government starting a religion. So I wouldn't want to pick answer choice D. Again, freedom of religion just means that you can choose what you want to have your religion as.
Yeah, so I think D is the best.
Well, D wouldn't make a good answer then. The one that makes the best answer here is answer choice B. You cannot be arrested for protesting against the government. Because if I look at the First Amendment, it says it gives freedom of speech, it gives freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and the right to gather together and to protest. So again, the government isn't the one that's starting religions. That's not what the First Amendment's about. But in the First Amendment, they tell you that you do have the right to protest against the government. Again, before, when there was a king, if the king did something, they made a law or a rule, and you didn't like it. If you were saying, like, oh, well, that law doesn't make any sense, or that law is not fair, or I don't want to follow that law, I'm going to do something about it, you would get thrown in jail. Now, they can't throw you in jail just because you're trying to protest against something that the government has done. If you don't like something the government did, you can protest against it. You can make sure that they know that you don't like it, whatever it might have been. Yes, Jadine. What's up?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I don't have any more questions.
Oh, okay. Bella, make sure we're paying attention. Number 3, the main purpose of the Bill of Rights is to blank. They want to know, why did they make the Bill of Rights? A, to give freedom of speech and religion to U.S. citizens. B, to make sure the Constitution does not change. C, to state what duties the government has to its citizens. Or D, to state the rights and the freedoms of U.S. citizens. What answer choice do you think makes the most sense? Kylie?
D.
D, to state the rights and freedoms of U.S. citizens. Okay, why do you think that? What's our proof for it? Can you find me in the story where it says something about rights or about freedoms?
In the First Amendment,
Okay, what does it say?
it says the First Amendment gives the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and the right to gather together and to protest.
Very good. It says freedom, freedom, freedom. Look at all the freedom in that First Amendment just by itself. Lots of freedoms. And if I look at the Second Amendment, it talks about the right to bear arms. It also tells us in other amendments, it talks about freedoms and rights, things that you have to have. So answer choice D is a great answer choice for number 3. What about number 4? Give an example of how the Bill of Rights affects your everyday life as a 4th grader. So what is one way that the Bill of Rights helps us even right now that we're in 4th grade? Violet.
Turn the hot water on for me, honey.
What's one way that the Bill of Rights helps us even now that we're in 4th grade?
Um, it can make it can well. You don't have to vote.
Well, the Bill of Rights doesn't say anything about voting here. Right now, the reason why we can't vote that we're in 4th grade is because we're not old enough. To vote in the United States, you need to be 18. But it's not because the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights doesn't affect that. But what is something that the Bill of Rights does affect? Something that it helps us with? Noah?
Well,
Oh, sorry. You had another one, Violet?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it makes sure even though we're young, but when we get older, if we break the law, like when you get turned 10, you can still go to jail. So it makes you follow the rules.
Okay. So it's there, even like you said, even though right now we're we're younger, but it makes sure that we have rights even for when we get older, right? It's not just for right now, and then when you get too old, it goes away. Noah, you had another idea?
It protects us from like a school shooting.
Mm, not exactly, but it does protect us from different stuff. Like, for instance, look at this one. Like Violet brought up the fact about like people breaking the law and stuff. So this one, let's see, where is it? Oh, here we go. So number 8. The Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. We talked about that one before. If you have, if you do something small, like let's say, Noah, that you forget to do your homework one day. No, if you forget to do your homework one day, can they throw you in jail for 100 years? No. Can they throw you in jail for 10 years? No. And you get grounded for a week? Maybe, right? Depends. But the Eighth Amendment makes sure that whenever you do something wrong, because like Violet mentioned about, people breaking crimes or breaking laws and committing crimes, whatever you do, whenever you break the law, whenever you do something bad, your punishment has to make sense for what you did. So if you did something small, like you forgot to do your homework, they're not going to throw you in jail for 10 years. That's something small, so your punishment should be small. Now, like Violet said, when you get older and you can go to jail, sometimes when you commit a crime, there are crimes that are really, really bad, and then there's some that are less bad. Still a crime, still not okay, but not as bad as some of the other ones. So you can go to jail for longer if you committed a worse crime, or like detention, like you said, Alexa. So that would be a good one for a small crime, right? But if you committed a big crime, they're not going to tell you, you know what? You stole, I don't know, you stole $30 million from the bank. That means you have detention. That wouldn't make sense because you had this really big crime and then you have a really itsy bitsy little punishment, right? Your punishment has to make sense for your crime. Whatever you do, punishment has to make sense. It can't be a big punishment or a little crime. And like Violet says, I like what she pointed out, that the Bill of Rights protects our rights not just now, but even for when we get older. So it protects us no matter what age we are. So I like both of those ideas. We can write those down. So the Bill of Rights makes sure we have rights for when we grow up. And, oh, sorry, hold on. Yeah, and makes sure we don't get a big punishment for a little, yeah, I could put crime, a little crime. So those are some ways that it helps us even now. Oh, you're kind of right there, Messiah. It doesn't help people to follow the rules, but what it does make sure is that even people who don't follow the rules, that they get treated fairly. So even people who don't follow the rules, who aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's making sure that they still get treated fairly. It says, it talks about how when they commit a crime, that they have to have a jury, that there has to be a court case. People have to say, well, this is why I think it was them that stole the $1 million, or this is why I think it was them who, I don't know, who broke into the bakery, or whatever it is they did. So it makes sure that even then, when they think you did something wrong, that you still get treated fairly. That way they can't just go, oh, well, who broke into the bakery? And they don't just go, oh, you know who it was? It was Violet. She loves, I don't know, she loves cookies, so she broke into the bakery. And they go, okay, we'll just arrest her then. That's not the way it works. They have to have proof, and then they have to have a court case where they say Violet must have been the one that stole from the bakery because of this. And here's my proof, and we saw her on camera, or anything like that. And Violet can go, that's not even me. My hair's a different color. Or that's not me. That person's too tall. Or I can't even eat cookies. Whatever it might be. And then the jury can decide, well, did Violet really steal all those cookies, or did she not steal the cookies? So she at least gets a chance to prove that it wasn't her that did something wrong.